Another texter says I would call it the Foonie. Wayne from Moose Jaw says the Sinker, because think in French is 5. And Derek in Redbird says I would call it a pain in my pocket. I've got enough change already. And someone else does call it the High Five. So lots of options. Continue to keep your texts coming at 306-306. Meanwhile, here in Riderville, we're getting ready for the Riders home opener on Saturday as they open up that brand new stadium. And coming to town, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And that's always a really great matchup. For more on this, we're looking at the other side of the football, joined now by Bob Irving of CJOB Radio in Winnipeg. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to see this beautiful stadium?
Well, I was there for the preseason game and saw it then, and it's a spectacular venue. There's no doubt about it, but I'm certainly excited about the game on Saturday night because I know there's going to be all sorts of celebration and pomp and pageantry and whatnot. It's going to be a special occasion, and it's going to be fun to be part of it.
Bob, you were born in Regina, you worked in Estevan, you're a Saskatchewan boy, really, although you've been in Winnipeg, it seems forever. But how exciting is it for you to be among the first to call a regular season game from this stadium?
Well, it's really neat. I grew up there, as you said, and I went to the old Taylor Field and watched Ronnie Lancaster and George Reed and Ed Bye Buchanan. I could go on. So yeah, it's going to be special. It really is. I've done a lot of games. I've covered the Bombers for more than 40 years. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's a terrific venue. As I say, we did the preseason game there, and I know the crowd that night was, was into it as much as you can get into a preseason game, but it's going to be a whole different atmosphere on Saturday for the regular season opener. So, you get a little jaded, I guess, over the years when you've done a lot of games, but I can tell you this is one that's going to be special.
No question about that. You saw how Bomber fans and players dealt with the opening of the new stadium in Winnipeg Investors Group Field. What do you think fans and players in Regina are in for?
Well, your players, I guess, the green and white, are a little more accustomed to it than the Bombers would be. But it's going to be a madhouse, an absolute madhouse. And for the fans that are there, it's going to be an occasion that they'll remember forever. I know the Bombers are intending to spoil the party. That's their plan entirely. They want to go up there. It's their first game of the year. They had the first week bye and kind of messed things up for the Rough Riders. But I've talked to a bunch of the Bomber players this week, and they're excited about it. The rivalry between the two teams is there, of course, but then the occasion that this game is being played in just adds to it. So it's going to be a night to remember for everybody.
Yeah, as you mentioned that they had the first round bye, and so this is their first game of the season. Do you think that's going to work for or against the Bombers?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and one that there's no definitive answer to. I know, the Bombers have said it's a unique situation, one they've never dealt with before. I can't remember the Bombers ever having the first week bye. They must have, but I don't remember it. So they're not sure whether it's an advantage or not. I know Mike O'Shea's a very positive guy, and he said that he's taking it as an advantage for them. That's just the way he views the world. He said, we'll have video of Saskatchewan playing a game. They have no video of us. We've had more time to prepare. We don't have any injury issues. So I guess if you look at it that way, it's an edge for the Bombers. But then the Riders have played a game. So, maybe that's an advantage for them. And, of course, home field. Let's not forget about that. So, I don't know. We'll find out Saturday night, I guess.
Okay, Bob, you guys recently got a new stadium in Winnipeg. It's a few years old now. What is the one thing that you think they learned the very first game at that grand opening that maybe fans could take to this stadium? What's one piece of advice you have going into a game for fans, brand new stadium and all of that? Because you went through this in Winnipeg.
Yeah, we did. I think you people there are familiar with the mistakes they made in the building.
Yes.
I would say the fans in Saskatchewan should be thankful that they took their time and did it right and ran test events. I know they had the CIS game and then the preseason game and the Bryan Adams concert. They've done it right in Saskatchewan. They rushed the stadium here. The government of the time wanted to get it built as a political thing as much as anything. Mistakes were made. They're still fixing them. They'll be fixing them for 2 or 3 years. So the one thing that the Riders did and the people in Saskatchewan did is they did it right. They took their time and the fans should be appreciative of that because there won't be any issues like some of the ones we've had here.
Except trains. They built it by railway tracks.
I guess. Why, is that a problem?
Oh.
Don't get him going, Bob. Do not get him going.
Have I got stories?
Okay.
Well, we're looking forward to having you in town. Have a wonderful time and enjoy that brand new stadium.
I guess everywhere I turn, somebody will be wearing green and white, will they?
Absolutely. Welcome to Ryderville.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to it.
Bob Irving with CJOB in Winnipeg. Of course, that game kicks off at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Green Zone game day coverage starts at 3 o'clock with Game Day with Ray here on 980 CJME. CJME News Time 6:44.
News is always happening, and we've got it covered for you. Because mornings aren't busy enough. The CJME Morning Show on 980 CJME. News, talk, sports.
Join us this July 1st on Canada Day as we celebrate our infinite horizon and Canada 150, proudly supported by the Government of Canada. The day includes free live entertainment featuring Mariana's Trench, an interactive living play, a powwow performance, citizenship reaffirmation program presented by CIBC, spectacular fireworks display presented by the Co-op Refinery, free transit services, and much more. For more information and event location, visit regina.ca/Canada150.
This whole project is not my bread and butter. I do investments for a living. But what it is my baby.
Brian Baker from youareinsurable.ca.
I started my career with RBC Insurance, and the first thing that they encourage you to do as a new advisor is to get insurance for yourself once. So I started that and quickly discovered that, well, I could get life insurance. I was totally declined for disability and critical illness insurance. I had been diagnosed years before with Crohn's colitis.
Today, Brian specializes in finding insurance for hard-to-insure people just like him.
youareinsurable.ca. It's not something where I make a whole bunch of money, but the real reward is when you can find something for somebody who couldn't get it anywhere else before, who felt discriminated against, who felt less than a person because they couldn't find coverage for their family.
Looking for life, critical illness, or disability insurance? Talk to Brian Baker. Visit youareinsurable.ca.
On the next Gormley. Wednesday means Saskatchewan's smartest radio listener, where we take to the phones, and in our Canada 150 series, Canadian and Hollywood actor Kim Coates comes by on what it means to be a Canadian.
Gormley, weekdays 8:30 to 12:30 on 980 CJME.
A feeling like your heart is going to burst with happiness. Giddiness displayed by randomly jumping and clicking your heels in a smile that's permanently stuck upon your face. This is called getting what you want. Accomplished by working with a highly skilled real estate agent. I'm Laura Keating of Century 21 Dome Realty Inc. If what you want is your home sold for the right price in as little as 30 days, call me. Listen to Inside Real Estate with Herb Chandler and Laura Keating, Saturday morning at 7:30.
I took the family on a road trip vacation, and it was a blast. Driving to every adventure. One time, we went to everyone's favorite restaurant, the Mall Food Court. I gave each kid $10 and told them to get whatever they wanted. They were so happy. When we piled back in the car and hit the highway, everyone got to say what they'd take for their lunch. One had fries with chili, one had a sundae with a milkshake, but no one had to guess what my youngest had for lunch, because it was all over the car, and all over us. I think it was mac and cheese with ketchup. Some people get motion sickness really easily, and I've got one of those people in my family. They used to make a great medicine for this, but when the over-the-counter stuff came out, they stopped making it, even though it worked better for the nausea and dizziness. Luckily, Hill Avenue Drugs is a compounding pharmacy, so they make drugs you can't get at a regular pharmacy. They can still make that really effective stuff that needs a prescription, and it sure makes my car smell better.
980 CJME is proud to present Bob Dylan, one of the most iconic voices in the world of music. At the Mosaic Place, the job, tickets, and talk them event at CJME.com.
JME News Time 6:48. I'm Andrew Shepard. The end of today can't come fast enough for a lot of kids in Regina. Today is the last day of classes for the Catholic School Division.
Tomorrow was the last day for Regina Public. A 20-year-old man is dead after crashing into a school bus yesterday morning. It happened on a highway near Central Butte. 6 kids were in the bus at the time, but they'll be all right. After asking a few questions of the justice last night, the jurors will be back into the deliberations this morning in the Sean Douglas murder trial. Cybersecurity experts are calling this a wake-up call for fundamental systems. Organizations around the world are still dealing with ransomware and malicious software attacks. It has 2,500 rhinestones, and she had to be sewn into it. The dress Marilyn Monroe wore to sing Happy Birthday to JFK is going to be on display in Luceland, Saskatchewan, of all places, next month. CJME News Time, 6:49. Now the Woodpile with CJME News Director Murray Wood.
As the president keeps trolling in social media with claims of fake news, it's interesting to note some recent events. 3 senior CNN investigative team members resigned after a story last week appeared online claiming an investigation was underway into a Russian investment firm with ties to some Trump officials. One of those named insisted the story was wrong. CNN quickly determined the usual editorial checks and balances hadn't been followed, pulled the story, and apologized. The lawyer who complained accepted the apology as a reasonable response. And that was that. Except Donald Trump and his minions are now in high dudgeon claiming this proves CNN and others are all fake on the Russia story. Actually, it proves CNN has standards, and failure to meet them has consequences. Unlike, say, when the president lies repeatedly. The New York Times says Trump told a falsehood on each day of his first 40 days in office. You can look it up, it's verifiable. CNN showed how to be accountable. The president would do well to take note. I'm Murray Wood, 980 CJME.
CJME News Time 6:50. CJME weather for Riser Door, specializing in commercial doors. Riser makes preventative service calls all over southern Saskatchewan. RiserDoor.ca. Sam, it's a beautiful day today.
It is. It's going to be sunny today, 26 degrees, and partly cloudy tonight, a 60% chance of rain or a thunderstorm, a low of 10 degrees. Partly sunny tomorrow, but also 60% chance of rain or in the afternoon or risk of a thunderstorm, a high of 21.
Across Saskatchewan, Saskatoon 10, Swift Current 10, Weyburn 9, Estevan 9, Yorkton 12, Moose Jaw sunny and 11, in Regina sunshine, northwest wind at 12 and at 7 degrees. Keeping you connected every 15 minutes and every morning. And news anytime at CJME.com. I'm Andrew Shepard.
The CJME Morning Show. We're plugged into the world so you don't miss a thing. 980 CJME.
Was you the one who tried to hurt me with your lies? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, I will survive.
Good morning. CJME News Time 6:51. Sam, Andrew, and Woodsy with you on a Wednesday morning. Every now and then, we stumble across one of these great stories that just makes you go, oh, that's so nice. And this is one of those stories, and it is related to Gloria Gaynor, a South Carolina teen who used music to survive being homeless, received a great surprise from one of her favorite singers. Gloria Gaynor serenaded and shocked Megan Faircloth in Myrtle Beach yesterday with her song, I Will Survive. Faircloth grinned and giggled as she hugged the legendary singer. The teen shared the last month that her family struggled with homelessness while she was in high school. Her family slept in their car, they parked outside a Walmart, and Faircloth said that she would listen to I Will Survive to get her through the tough times.
Just so amazed at the strength of character.
Yeah, like one hot cake.
One hot cake, okay?
And then two number two. This is a sandwich only.
Would you like combo there?
No. And then I'd like a coffee medium black.
Okay.
And give me 3 hash brown.
3 hash brown?
Yeah. And that's it.
You know, the 1576, Nova Plus, you know.
Okay.